boys and girls, it's Thursday, May 7th. It is day 32 of our learning time at home. Thanks for joining me today. We have some new things to learn and some old things to review, so I'm so glad that you're here. Let's start with prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for these precious children. Give them a wonderful day today at home. And Father, I thank you for all their hard work. I pray that you will just cover them with your protection. Thank you for these beautiful spring days that we are able to enjoy with our families. And Lord, I thank you for all the things that we have done this year that have brought us closer to you. Father, I pray that as we talk about some of these things today, that the children would remember and that they would hide them in their hearts and they would show these things at home too. Father, we love you and we're grateful for all that you have blessed us with, good health and good families. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, that's right. You have a good family, don't you? I know you're grateful for all that your moms and dads, brothers and sisters, grandmas and grandpas are doing with you and for you. So how is your school at home book? Is it almost finished? As far as I know, we should have one more page available to finish up today. So do you remember that we did our tooth poem yesterday? Today I drew Mr. Big Tooth for my last page in my school at home book. It says at the top, many boys and girls have a new window. I didn't want to forget that while we were at home learning, that so many of you lost a tooth and you have a new window. Some of you have wiggly teeth, don't you? And some of you may have to wait until you're bigger. Maybe as a first grader, you'll lose your first tooth. That sometimes happens. All right, kiddos, so finish up your beautiful books. Mrs. Webster can't wait to see them and be blessed by them. And of course, I will return them to you because hopefully this book will be something precious for you and your families to look back at and remember our time in kindergarten as we learned at school and as we learned at home. So today, let's begin by going through our special sounds. Today on our work, we'll be reviewing some of our special sounds. So yesterday, our new one was ooh in tooth. Ooh in tooth. Here we go. Owl, ow in owl. Ow in out. In nurse. In bird. In verse. So remember, we hear three different ways to spell it. So if you're spelling a word with in it, you may have to ask, is it I-R, U-R, or E-R? Sometimes you can think back and you'll remember what it looked like. Other times you may have to ask an adult. All right, let's continue. O in bowl. Ch in church. Nice job. R in stars. Bull in block. Let's go faster. These are review ones. Stir in stream. Spur in spraying. Sul in sleep. Sn in snack. Sw in swim. Sk in scat. E in knee. Squip in squeak. Twa in twins. Sm in smoke. Tur in train. Pull in plane. I in fly. O in go. Dur in drum. Gull in glue. The in three. Full in flake. Ooh in tooth. Back to the beginning. Nice job. Let's look at our long vowel words and our short vowel words up on the whiteboard and see if you can read them quickly and fluently with me. Let's take a minute to look them over. The purple words are two vowel words, our long vowel words. Our red words are short vowel words, one vowel words. Okay, let's check out the long vowel words first. Can you read them quick as a wink? Let me grab my pointer and let's do them together. Are you ready? Here we go. I wish you were the star of the day and you were here and could do it with me. Feet, boat, good reading, skate, frame. I'm wondering if any of you have skates at home. Do you have some skates that you can go roller skating in your driveway or around your neighborhood maybe? That would be fun. All right, let's read the short vowel words. Ready? Man, trap, good. On, and. Good job. Thumbs up, my friends. I know that you can read those words lickety-split. All right, next, Let's look at our whiteboard and see what your math problem was for today. What review math do you have? Blue squares, you're going to be counting by twos. Red squares, you're counting by tens. And green squares, you're counting by ones. Orange squares, I'm wondering, do you remember all the coins and how much each one is worth? Okay, grab a whiteboard if you can, and let's see if you can fill in some of these review problems. This is where I'm just going to put my book down, and then let's look. Okay, check out this one. This is our blue square friends. They're counting by twos. Skip, skip, skip by two. Hey, that's not how the song goes, but we could sing it that way, couldn't we? Because each time you write a two, a number counting by twos, you're skipping one number, aren't you? So when you count by twos, we're skipping number 3, and we're going to write number, you got it, number 4. That would go in our missing spot. 2, 4, 6. Can you write those on your whiteboard? I bet you could. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We skipped some numbers to be able to fill in the missing numbers, didn't we? Skip, skip, skip by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. I know you know our song. Can you sing it? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We can count by twos. And you could go faster, I'm sure. Okay, here we go. Red squares. 10, 20. What comes next as we count by tens? Did you say 30? I bet you did. Do you remember how to draw 30? I'm sure you do. The 3 is in the tens place because there's 3 bundles of 10, and the 0 goes in the ones place. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Good job. Down, around, and give them a hat. Do you remember when we learned how to draw a 5? Some of you had a hard time with that one, but you did it. And remember, a 0 is a magic C number. It begins at the top and comes around this way, doesn't it? Don't forget that. When you're big first graders, we have to show our teachers that we know that making all those magic C letters and numbers start at the top. All right, here we go. Green squares. You're counting by ones. 84, 87. So what would the bundle of 10 be? Yes, it is the 8. I wish you were here to answer me, but I hope you're answering at home. 84, 85, good for you. 80, what comes next? 84, 85, 80. Good, and 87. Now let's read them all and see if they make sense. 84, 85, 86, 87. I'm sure you wrote those quickly and correctly. Next, let's look at our coins. We learned in kindergarten 4 of the coins' names and how much each one is worth. If you came to the whiteboard, would you be able to tell me that the brown coin, the one that's copper color, is called a penny? And how much is it worth? 1 cent. Good job. 1 cent for 1 penny. The next coin I put on the board is a little bit larger in size. Do you remember what that silver coin is called? A nickel. Good for you. And a nickel is how much money? 5 cents. If you watched our video yesterday, we did some adding, didn't we, with some of our coins for review. The next one is called the dime. It's a little bit tinier. It's actually one of the smallest coins that we have, isn't it? And it's silver also. How much is a dime worth? Did you say that? 10 cents? Good for you. And finally, our last one is called the, do you remember that one? We were just starting to work on with that one in workshop. A quarter. Good for you. And there's quarters that look like the one Mrs. Webster has on the whiteboard, but I'm sure you remember that we showed you all the different quarters that go with the states. Have you been looking around your house to see if you have any state quarters? Check them out, boys and girls. It's a super fun activity to see if you can find all 50 of the state quarters. So a quarter is worth how much money? Do you recall? Did you say 25 cents? Good for you. Ah, that's awesome. All right, today let's look at our review sentence, our Star of the Day sentences that we've been reading. They've been news that Mrs. Webster knows about you because you've been sharing with me. Let's check it out. It says Liliana today. Liliana did something in the kitchen with her little brother, Aiden. Liliana, you know, has several brothers and a sister. There are 4 children in her family, and she did something that she sent me a picture of. Let's read her sentence. Can you read it with me? Liliana, here's a long vowel word, bakes. What's the word? Bakes. What does she bake? Let's see if we can figure out these words. Liliana bakes, here's a big word. It starts with the burr in bride, special sound. Brown, do you see the word brown? Maybe now you know what she baked. Can you think about what that could be? What could she bake that would start with the word brown? Brownies, that's right. Let's read it from the beginning. Liliana bakes brownies with it if Aiden, not Aiden in kindergarten, Aiden, her brother. That's right. It's her little brother named Aiden. Remember how she would talk about Aiden a lot. Okay, let's read it fluently. Are you ready? Liliana bakes brownies with Aiden, her brother. Now there's a teeny tiny mark Mrs. Webster put right there. Some of you, we've talked about it in reading groups because we saw it in your readers. It is called a comma. A comma helps us separate words. So when you're reading fluently, you do a little pause. You know what a pause is, right? You wait just for a minute and then you finish the next part of the words. A comma is used to have the reader or the speaker pause and wait. So let's try it again. Liliana bakes brownies with Aiden, her brother. The reason Mrs. Webster put the comma and the words her brother there is to give you more of an explanation of who she was baking the brownies with. That it wasn't our friend Aiden in kindergarten, it was her brother Aiden. That's 2 different Aidens, 2 different guys, so I put the comma there to give you more idea of who I was talking about in the sentence. And you can do that. You can use commas for other things also, but I wanted to point that out for this sentence. Okay, here we go. Let's change this sentence from Liliana. Thank you, Liliana, for that news. I feel like I could almost smell your brownies. I bet they tasted so good, and I love the way brownies smell when they're being baked. Okay, let's check out our next friend. I love this sentence, first of all, because it's about one of our kindergarten buddies, but also because there's lots of special sounds. Let's first of all check out the sentence. Who is it about? Do you see his name? Neil, our good friend Neil. That's right. Neil has lots of good stories to tell us, and I've seen some awesome pictures from Neil. So here's a special sound right here, swa, in that word. Here's a special sound right here, or. And then here's a special sound, pull. I don't think we've done this one, or. But that is an important special sound. Actually, I think we have done that one, or in morning. We did do that one. Okay, I just haven't seen it in our cards for a while. Neil plants, swa, 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 sweet. What's that word? Sweet. Sweet what? Corn. Corn. Let's read the whole sentence. Neil plants sweet corn. Neil was out in his garden and they were sowing the seeds. Do you remember what sowing the seeds means? Does it mean needle and thread sewing? No, that's right. It means planting. They were busy as a whole family. They were out putting seeds in the dirt that they had made a little row for, a row that they were going to plant the seeds. And then they put something on top of the seeds. I think it was probably like fertilizer to help the plants grow well. And then Neil was busy covering up the seeds with just a nice layer of dirt. I'm sure that they watered them right after that, and they're waiting for those little corn plants to start sprouting. So fun to see, boys and girls, these pictures of you doing things at home. Liliana making brownies and Neil planting a garden. All right, let's go on for my next sentence. And this is a sentence about another friend doing something with his dad. Wow, check out this sentence. Is it about you today? It's about Levi. Yeah, Levi, it's about you, my friend. Let's circle a special sound I see in one of your words. Well, actually, you have 3 words with special sounds. Here's pull and plain, A and pray. So that word is play. But did you see there's an S at the end? So we don't say play, we say plays. Plays. Here's a special sound in church, and it's a one vowel word, so it would be chess. And then finally, this special sound at the end of with. All right, let's read our sentence about Levi. Look at what Levi's been busy doing. Something with Daddy. Ready? Levi plays chess with Dad. That's right, they've been playing chess. Boys and girls, that's a really interesting game for a kindergartner to play. I'm very impressed, Levi, that you can play that game. It's a little bit like checkers, and maybe some of you play it and I don't realize it, but you have to learn how each one of the little pieces can move. And the goal is, of course, to win the game. But to win the game, you have to use your brain power, and you have to do strategies. Some of you know what that means. You have to really think, and before you make a move, you have to think, how can you beat the player that you're playing with? So Levi has been having a great time playing chess with his dad. I know he's doing other things too, but that's the sentence that I wrote about you today, Levi. Okay, speaking of special sounds, today on our phonics work, you're going to see a special sound at the beginning of a row of pictures. Your goal is to find the pictures that have that special sound and circle them. Now, if you wanted to make this super easy, you could think about each one and write the special sound next to it, like this. Skunk, sk, sk, sk. What do you hear? It's either SC or SK, you're right. In this case, it's SK, sk. So I wrote that there. Let's go to the next one. In this cup, there's a crack, cur. All right, so I wrote a CR for that special sound. Now I'm looking at this one. Those pesky birds are called crows, crr. Now, if you wanted to, that would help you because you could quickly see the two pictures that say cur are crack and crow. But let's say you know your special sounds so well that you don't need to write the sounds above the pictures. That's fine too. Let's look at the next one. The special sound is st, st, in, stop. Good job. St, in, stop. If you remembered that one, I'm proud of you. Listen to the three pictures. We're going to circle two of them. Stick, spill, and steam. Stick, spill, steam. What are the two pictures that have st? Did you say stick? And did you say steam? I wish you were here to draw the circles around these words. Let's go to the next one. Sh. How does that special sound go? Sh, in, ship. Did you remember it? I'm sure you did. That's one of our first ones we did. Sh, in, ship. So let's look at our pictures. Snake, sheep, shake. I know, you're so good at this. You would circle the sheep and the shake. You would not circle the snake. Remember, Mrs. Webster always says the words a little bit weird, but the reason we're doing that is so that we can hear the sounds, okay? That's not how we normally talk. So on your phonics page today, page 212, first of all, don't miss this part up at the top. It's marking the vowels. It says just to mark the vowels. So you don't have to circle the special sounds, but if you want to, that's never a bad thing to practice. Next, stir, stop, strawberry, straw. You actually don't circle them, you bubble in the bubble. Twa, twa, twin, truck, 12. That one might be tricky. Say it to yourself and oversay it. Twin, truck, 12, which says twa. Okay, let's go on. Thir and three. Thread, three, I just gave it away, and tree. Be careful, they're trying to stump you. There's two. And finally, spull, swing, splash, splinter. Ow, those hurt, don't they? Do you see the splinter in that finger? Ouch, I hope that never happens to you. Okay, so that's your phonics work today. Work carefully and neatly, please. In math time today, we are doing one of our special reviews, and then we're dividing things in half in two equal places. Now, I drew 3 shapes up at the board with a whole bunch of dots. Let me explain that to you. You're going to get to do the same type of activity on your math paper where you choose how you want to divide a shape. Now, look at it carefully. Look at what's that shape? Rectangle at the top. I see dots everywhere. Do you? So there's a dot here to here to here, up and down, or this way, diagonally. Which way would you decide to divide your shape that is the rectangle? So I'm going to go diagonal just for fun. So I'm going to go from this dot to this dot and get 2 equal spots. All right, let's move on to the circle. I drew a circle, and you could divide it across this way, couldn't you, to make 2 equal, or you could go this way to make 2 equal. Well, I think I'll go up and down. Do I have 2 equal spaces in my circle? I do. Now let's look at the square. The square is a lot like the rectangle. There's dots everywhere. Well, that means I have to think, how am I going to draw a line to divide a square into 2 equal places? Now, don't just go dividing all of them. Don't draw lines for every single dot you see, because we only want 2 equal places, so you can only connect 2 dots. Okay, so I think for this one, I'll go across this way and get 2 equal places. You could have done it this way, or this way, or this way. It's whatever you want to do today, okay, boys and girls? So you choose the way you want to divide it. Let me show you your paper, okay? So here we go. First thing what we're going to do is look at Mrs. Brown. Guess what she's making? Does that look like brownies, Liliana? I think so. I think she has a pan of brownies. And she's getting ready with her big knife to cut it and divide it. So here we go. It says to color each square that has 2 equal parts, kind of like what we did yesterday with the cookies. If you don't want to color them, just circle them. At the bottom it says, circle each object that has 2 equal parts. Circle, all right? Flipping your paper over, that's where you're going to spy a cookie and a graham cracker, a rope, and also a brownie. You get to divide it equally, so you have 2 equal places, just like I did on the whiteboard here. That's what you're going to do for these 4 things. Don't forget the piece of rope here that you can divide in half equally, okay? And then finally, hey, this is so easy. Count these shapes in each set, the pennies and the triangles, and write the number. If it were me, I would make that little mark so I didn't skip counting 1. Even though something is easy, sometimes that's when we make the worst mistakes, because we're quick and we're trying to get it done fast and be done. So be careful, boys and girls. That's also part of growing up, is learning to do your work carefully. All right, let's move on to number practice. Our number practice today is the 30s. 30, 31, and so on. I know you can do one column neatly today. Looking forward to seeing those. In our Bible page today, I love this page because it's a memory. I dropped my pointer. It's a memory of all the stories that we learned with Marcus and Miranda. I'm going to have to do this page with you. So would you please go get page 90? It's on the back of the one that you did yesterday, the special one that was all about you. Do you remember this one we did yesterday? So find that page again. Maybe mommy or daddy have it somewhere special. It's page 90, okay? While you go hunt for that page, let's talk about the next character trait. Yesterday we talked about being special. That was October. Do you remember what we talked about in November? Thanksgiving, that's right. It was the one where it said, I will give thanks to thee. Nope, I said it wrong. You are my God, and I will give you thanks. Psalm 118, 28. I was getting mixed up and said yesterday's Bible verse. Yes, in November, we learned about being thankful. And this was our Bible verse. Do you remember when we said it? We were dressed up and we were getting ready for our Thanksgiving feast. You are my God, and I will give you thanks. I'm sure that every day you pray with your families and give thanks for all He's blessed you with, like good food to eat, brothers or sisters, nice clothes to wear, good family to live with and to love and to be with each and every day. All right, are you ready? Do you have your paper? Okay, on this side, there's a little picture that reminds us of each one of the character traits that we've been learning, such as obedience and thankfulness. On this side is a little picture that is going to help us remember the stories of Marcus and Miranda. So today, we're only going to do a few of them because we don't want to get too mixed up, okay? All right, so here we go. Let's start with obedience. Obedience was the picture of the butterfly. It was the first thing we talked about when we came to kindergarten, how important it is to obey at home. Marcus didn't obey at home. He messed up Mitch's butterfly collection. Can you please find the butterfly on this side of your page and draw a straight line down to the butterfly? Kiddos, please do this with a straight line, because if your lines are all wiggly and squiggly, it will be hard for Mrs. Webster to tell which you drew your line to. So butterfly to butterfly. That one's pretty simple. All right, let's go to the next one. Hey, that's what we talked about yesterday. IALAC. I am lovable and capable. So this one might be a little bit confusing because at the beginning of that story, and I forgot to remind you of it, Miranda was sitting on her bed and she had her big pink polka dotted pony. And she was thinking about how special her pony was to her and that her friend Marcus was super special and she wanted to give him a special gift. That's when she was wrapping up the kaleidoscope. So do you see the picture of the polka dotted pony? That actually is the one that goes with IALAC. The pony's right up here. Okay? So draw a straight line from IALAC to the pony, because she was sitting in her bed with her special stuffy, her polka dotted pony, thinking about Marcus. All right, let's move on. The next one is the one for today that we've been talking about. It's a picture of a happy house. You know, it's easy to grumble and complain when we're home and we're doing the same thing over and over. But do you remember the story of Marcus and Miranda? How they had gone to the neighbor's house and they had made a surprise party for their parents to thank them for all they do for them? So would you draw a line from the house to the surprise banner? Somewhere there's a banner. It says surprise on it. A banner is a sign. And they put up that sign and they invited their parents to her house and they had it just for moms and dads. They had planned a neighborhood party for their parents to say thank you to their parents for all they had done for them. This is a good time for you to do the same thing, isn't it? To say thank you. Let's do one more today, and then we'll move on and we'll do the rest tomorrow, okay? All right, so check out the heart. The heart is in the month of December. So we have August, September, October, November, December. December, we talked about the love of Jesus, that the month of December was Jesus' birthday, and that he showed great love to us when he sent his son to earth as a baby. And it's Christmas time, isn't it? Do you remember that Marcus made 4 special gifts at school and that his teacher had encouraged him to give them to 4 people? So the gifts that he made are at the bottom of the page. He made his mom and dad a special Christmas card. He made Miranda that beautiful wreath that she could hang on her tree. He made the neighbor, the woman that was in the wheelchair that couldn't go out and do fun things, he made her a bookmark that said, "Who loves you like an owl?" And then finally, he made another card, and he made that one for the boy Larry. Larry was the boy at school that wasn't kind, and Marcus showed him the love of Jesus by sharing that card with Larry. And Larry then learned what it was like to have the love of Jesus in your life. All right, so would you draw a line down from the heart, the love of Jesus, down to the gifts? Okay, we'll do the honest lips tomorrow and so on and so forth. Okay, so put this paper to the side and we'll work on it again tomorrow, but I don't want to do all the character traits in one day. Let's talk about them a little bit at a time, okay? All right, let's move on. Today in our science book, we get to do a really fun page. You know how yesterday we talked about the sea star? Well, today we're doing the flip side, or the next page, which is page 81, talking about these guys. Do you know what those are? Seahorses, that's right. Here's a picture of some real seahorses up here, and you're going to color the picture that you see of the seahorses and some of the plants and sea anemones that are in our ocean. God created these wonderful animals. Remember, he created them on day 5, was the day that he made the animals of the sea, or the water animals. Read the story about the seahorses, the sentences, because you're going to learn that seahorses are actually fish. That's right. They are part of the fish family, and that they use those funny tails that they have to hang on to plants, and that's how they secure themselves. Turning the page, we're going to read about page 82 and the sand dollars. I'm sure that some of you have probably collected sand dollars over the years, maybe at the beach. Have you ever been to Coronado Beach? That's a beach where we, Susie and I, have found a lot of sand dollars. Sometimes you just go there and it's loaded with sand dollars. Anyway, go ahead and read about the small, thin animal that is a sand dollar. And you can learn some new things about them as well. All right? All right, boys and girls, I love our God's World book because it reminds us that God created all of these things. He made them. Why did he make us? So we would worship and love and praise him. I know you're doing that. All right, and then finally today in our history or social studies unit, we're going to a country called Israel. Israel should sound really familiar to you because we've talked about it many times. Israel is the land where Jesus walked and talked with his disciples. It is the land right here. It's next to Africa. It's teeny tiny. It's a very small country, boys and girls, but it's the country where the Israelite people live. If you look at your social studies paper, it shows some pictures of the land of Israel. This is the Sea of Galilee. Do you remember our Bible story where Jesus was asleep on the sea and the winds and the waves came up? This is that very sea. This is a picture of it. You can go to Israel and visit and see some of these places where Jesus actually was when he came to earth from heaven. This sea is called the Dead Sea. It's very, very salty, very salty. And actually there's so much salt in the Dead Sea that fish can't live in it. It's too salty. You are allowed to go down into the Dead Sea if you go visit Israel, and your body floats really easily because of the salt in the Dead Sea. And then you have to come out and wash it off. Otherwise, you're covered in salt. On the other side, you're going to color a picture of this little girl. Her name is Sarah, and she's dressed as the people in the Bible used to dress. Now, boys and girls, if you go to Israel today, they dress just like you and I do. But in Bible days, this was the kind of dress that they wore. We've talked about it before, haven't we? That it was hot in the country of Israel. And so they would wear long flowing things that weren't tight to their skin, but the air could just circulate and go up their gowns and cool their bodies off instead. They often wore sandals too. We talked about that, how Jesus washed the feet of the disciple, and when you would come and visit someone to their home, that would be a custom that they would do because your feet would be dirty from walking all the way to that person's house. So there was a story in the Bible that we talked about before Jesus died on the cross where he had that last dinner with his disciples and Jesus washed their feet. And they said, Lord, why are you washing our feet? We should be washing yours. But he showed that as a sign of respect and love. All right, so the country of Israel is a very important country. And so today, that is what we're going to be learning about in our social studies time. I love you, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon and day today. And I'll see you tomorrow on Fun Day Friday. All right, have a good one. Talk to you later.